All right, what's up, guys? We're back.
Hey, what's cracking?
This thing back on. We're back. Week one of the NFL season's in the books. We got football tonight. We're recording this Thursday morning. We got Browns Bengals tonight. Barn fire. It's not how. I mean, it's going to be an ugly game probably, but hey, it's what you get. Thursday night football. I don't like divisional games on Thursday night. I think it's not fair to the home team. Or I don't think it's fair to either team, really. I mean, it's one of your biggest 6 games of the year, and you're forced to play it on a short week. The away team's got to travel to it. I mean, obviously it's in state, but it's still
Sure.
not great. Both teams aren't the best. Obviously, they've been picking pretty high the last few years, but Bengals look all right. Joe Burrow looked really good on Sunday, so I'm excited to see how he does tonight against Cleveland. But yeah, obviously we made some picks last week. We'll run through that shit show of a performance on our part. Not great. I owe a few apologies out there to some teams. But yeah, I mean, week two's got some good games set up again. Just looking at the schedule here, there's a couple good matchups, a couple good, a few locks I think you can put in. We'll get to, but before we get into all that, we'll recap. I mean, there's more than football going on. Obviously, baseball is heating up. There's, I think 10 games left in their season. So, baseball is hitting that playoff stride. They're trying to get their bubble stuff figured out, especially with the air quality in California has been a big issue all week, trying to figure out how they're going to play I think the American League playoffs are in California. Yep. So, they'll have to work around that. I don't know. Where's the National League playing at?
Arlington.
Okay, that's what I thought. I thought they were debating between Texas and San Diego. So Arlington's not bad.
America. The first round, those 3-game series, they'll be played in the home stadium of whoever the higher seed is, or whoever the better seed is, and then the divisional playoffs, they'll be played in the or the quarterfinals, I guess is what it is this year. They're playing the quarters in either San Diego or Arlington, the ALCS and NLCS in the same stadiums, and then the World Series is in Arlington. So a lot of fun stuff.
Yeah, they got to figure out what they're gonna do. I mean, they said they're kind of worried about, air quality being a factor. Obviously, trying to get all these guys into different ballparks and stuff like that's going to be tough. Especially, it'll be interesting to see how it works for guys like. Teams on the East Coast haven't really traveled outside of the East Coast, and I think that's one of those divisions where everything's really packed. I mean, you have Tampa Bay down south, but everybody else is kind of up there in the Northeast, so sure. Travel's kind of restricted for them. So it'll be interesting to see if, say, the Yankees do have to travel out to the West Coast at some point, how would they kind of fare? But obviously it's not going to be a huge deal, but it's just something that wouldn't necessarily be a huge shock, seeing it being maybe playing a little bit of a factor. Obviously, no fans is another thing that's going to kind of derail that, but sure. We'll see. We won't know until we get there, but Cubs look like they've probably clinched the NL Central at this point. I think they're up 5 games with 10 to go. They got the Twins this weekend. Yeah, they got Twins this weekend. That's going to be a tough one. But they're starting to hit their stride, which is good. Out west, it's really close. I know the Dodgers and the Padres just wrapped up a series. The Dodgers took the series, but I think they kept every game close. Tatis is still the MVP, it looks like. You can make a case for Mookie Betts. I just don't know if... I saw it today, you take him off the Dodgers, they're still a playoff team. You take Tatis off the Padres, they're good, but they're not
that good.
They're not what they are now. They're like a game and a half back of the best team in baseball. So
sure.
NL Cy Young's down to 3 guys right now. I think it's down to Bauer, Darvish, and DeGrom. DeGrom went out yesterday with I think it was a hamstring injury. So if his season's shut down, that might be a case against him. Obviously, it's gonna be hard to say. He's not deserving. He's been disgusting all year per usual. So
the 2-time defending champ, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it sucks for Bauer. He's been dominating the last few weeks, but the Reds haven't been good. I think they're in the playoffs now, or like a half a game back or something. They fought their way back. they can't. They seem to be the most unlucky team in baseball. Hitting hard balls for outs, pitchers throwing 7 innings of 2-hit baseball and losing 1-0. I mean, it
Hmm.
sucks, but if they get into the playoffs, they're scary. They've got. I mean, if you have a 3-game set in the wild card or the first round, whatever you want to call it this year, say if you take them to 3 games, you're playing Bauer, Sonny Gray, and Castillo. That's not an easy 3 out or 3 games. So
Sure,
I mean,
sure,
they'll be one of those teams that'll be tough to beat. But I mean,
sure.
anybody in the playoffs are going to be tough. So I don't know. I mean, obviously, I'll be more exciting once the actual playoffs come. But I've been kind of out of the baseball loop for the past few days, just trying to catch up on. Trying to watch. My goal this week was to watch every week 1 NFL game, and I'm almost there. I think I have 3 left. So
Yeah, I think New York, they were looking really bad for several weeks, and now they're starting to get back in their stride.
yeah,
They just laid the smackdown on old Toronto, which was second place in the division before the series started. They're getting back to hitting home runs. They got DJ LeMahieu back. They're starting to get a little healthier. I think they just reactivated Aaron Judge. I think they just put Paxton on the 45-day IL, though. Uh, I don't know. If you're going to get healthy, this is the time to do it. So,
yeah,
New York, if they can figure it out, maybe get the, if they can get the, boy, I don't know. I don't know if you want to be the 4 or the 5, or if you want to be the 6 or the 7. I think they're the 5 seed right now, but I think if they can face, I think they can make it out of the first round just by having and and someone like maybe Tanaka go out there, get you 2 or 3. But man, that second round series, if you're facing Tampa Bay in a 5-game series, that is a very tough task
yeah,
this season. Um, Tampa Bay, they've got a lot of good pitchers. They throw those openers, which this is the year of the opener,
yeah.
and I mean Tampa Bay is just they're man. I don't know how you look at that team and don't think they're going to the World Series. That team is just very good in all aspects. Fielding, hitting for power, hitting for percentage. They seem to do everything right, and they never get rewarded for it. I think that changes this year. A lot to look forward to down there in Tampa Bay.
Yeah, the American League seems a lot more wide open because I feel like, I mean, if Houston gets in, I hate to say it, but I mean, McCullers, I think he can. I mean, he can win them games. Their
Sure.
lineup, if they stay healthy, maybe they can put a bat on the ball
Yeah.
by themselves. I know they just lost Correa went down yesterday with a foul ball off the leg. I don't know if he's going to miss any time or not, but I mean, there's a lot of a lot of good teams. I don't think there's really any teams that stand out. Obviously, the Yankees are going to stand out on paper, but we just haven't seen them string anything together.
Sure.
That gives me full confidence. I mean, the AL Central's it's as tight as you're going to get. I believe the Indians, White Sox, and Twins are all competing. They all have a good chance. But yeah, it's going to be a fun year. I think any team who gets into the playoffs has a legit chance. I mean, you look at the NL side, the Dodgers and the Padres can both put it up. I mean, if the Padres get pitching help, if Clevenger gets back to himself, and you have him and Paddock and Danielson Lemay, whatever his name is, I mean that's tough. Dodgers
Sure.
don't if the Dodgers go out and throw Dustin May, he's throwing 101 on the corner. Well, that's just your third or fourth best pitcher. He's pitching your game 4. You're in good shape. So there's a lot of good teams out there. I think it'll be an interesting year. Um, but we look over at the NBA.
Yeah.
Man, it's the Denver Nuggets. Man, they came back down 3-1 to Utah. Incredible performance from Jamal Murray, which I mean, dude caught fire and didn't look back. Come out in the Nugget or the not the Nuggets, obviously it's the Nuggets, the Clippers series. Clippers are looking dominant early, and then
Sure.
Jokic and Jamal Murray again step up. Michael Porter Jr. comes out with the boldest take of the playoffs, saying I need to get more involved. Which I mean, I'll be honest, you're a good player, but you're not the third best option on that team.
Sure.
And, I mean, Jamal Murray took over. Him and Jokic. I mean, Jokic had a triple-double in Game 7 by the end of the third quarter.
Yep.
Dude does it all. Probably the best big in the league if you're
People sleep on
comparing.
he might be the most underrated player.
Yeah, and he's been a superstar for like 3 years now, and he just doesn't get the respect.
No, he doesn't get talked about. I mean, the guy has
No.
a perfect triple double. Like, what was it, last year? And like 10 people know about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like the first time in 50 years it happens, and nobody cares. Like,
Yeah.
the guy is super, like, he's super intelligent. He's super talented. The guy can basically do everything you want out of that position. They have a legitimate shot to beat the Lakers in this Western Conference Finals.
That's what's going to be tough is, I mean, the matchup to watch is obviously going to be Jokic and Anthony Davis. I mean, those are probably the two best players on the floor right now. I don't know how they're going to match up with LeBron. You're probably going to have to mix in Jeremy Grant, maybe Michael Porter to give some size out there. But, I mean, we talked about it when they were playing Denver. Or, God damn it, I keep doing it. When they were playing Utah. Denver's depth is so deep. I mean, top to bottom, they've got 10, 11 guys who can come out and put up points and who can defend. They can go 3 and D. They're a tough team to out. Obviously, we've seen that. Paul George, I mean, I hate to say it, guy, but you did not back up your talk at all. You're out here saying, oh, wait till playoff P comes around, and you're clanking wide open shots off the side of the backboard in a Game 7. Like, come on, man.
Yep.
Him and Kawhi shot 0 of 11 in the fourth quarter.
Money.
Cash, dude. I mean, they were all, I was watching, I was flipping back and forth between that and, that would have been Tuesday night. I don't know what else was on Tuesday. Must have been Cubs game, but, I mean, it's like a 12-point game with like a minute left in the half. Jamal Murray goes on a run, and they cut it to 2 right before the buzzer. You know, come out second half, they go on like a 19-4 run. Next thing you know, Denver's up like 15. 27-point swing in the span of like 6 minutes. Like, the Clippers just weren't able to close, and Denver's very opportunistic. So,
and you know, I saw something that they're in the fourth quarter. You know, they were real tired in that fourth quarter. Guys weren't playing. I mean, you take the Toronto Boston series, for instance. I feel like 3 or 4 players on each side were playing all of the entire second half, let alone the you know.
I mean, they averaged like 42 minutes a game.
Yeah, like that series was crazy in terms of using the starters and putting them on the floor. It felt like nobody was staying on the floor for longer than like 2.5 minutes in that fourth quarter for the Clippers. And it was, you know, I don't know what they did. I don't know if the conditioning was bad, but I mean, you play it. I mean, who did they play in the first round? The Clippers. I mean, they played
Dallas.
Yeah, they played Dallas, and I mean, a lot of people thought Dallas, if healthy, was going to win that series.
Yeah.
And you know, you play a healthy Denver team who doesn't get their respect. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they slept on them when they went up 3-1, you know, but
yeah.
I mean,
I saw something that like Jokic and Murray are 7-1 or 8-1 in elimination
Game 7s. Yeah.
In elimination games.
Oh, really?
So I mean, they were down 3-1 twice, came back and I mean, it doesn't make sense. Like, I saw somebody was talking about like the Clippers spent all season doing load management, which is fine. I have no problem with that. Like,
sure.
If they had a back-to-back, Paul George is playing one night, Kawhi's playing the next night, and it was like that all season, which is fine. You're resting your guys. But if you're going to rest your guys like that, and you've got an injury, or not an injury, like 2 guys who take their time, who rest when they want to, and then you get a 4-month break to let them catch their breath, and they've got all this time, and they come up there and they still say they're tired and they can't compete. Jokic tested positive. Not that
long
away
ago
from the bubble opening up, and he was out there balling. Like you said, the Celtics, they played 40 minutes. Raptors were playing their guys 40 minutes. Like, it's a dumb excuse. I mean, guys could be tired. I'm not saying that's wrong or that's inaccurate, but you've got to be in better. You got to prepare for that. Like,
sure.
And in the playoffs, like, you've got to play your best guys. That's what they're there for. You're paying your guys $28 million a year to play those moments. You're not paying Paul George to play 8 minutes of Game 7, fourth quarter.
Sure.
Jason Tatum's out there playing 12 minutes because, yeah, he's younger, but I mean, you want your best players out there to give you the best chance to win. That's as simple as it gets. And
Sure.
and Doc Rivers has now blown three separate 3-1 leads. I mean, how he kept his job, I don't know. I mean, dude traded he traded his son to pick up a superstar who cheated on his daughter with a stripper and blew a 3-1 lead. What a year for Doc Rivers.
Well, and honestly, the Clippers traded away so many assets to get Paul George. I mean, they traded like 3 first-rounders, 2 first-round swaps. Like
they traded a pick until 27.
Like they don't have a future. You know what I mean? They have to win now.
No, Paul George says I don't. He said this isn't win now mode.
Goodness gracious.
No pressure to win now.
I mean, I don't see how that's true though. I mean, really.
I mean, Kawhi are signed to 2 years. I mean, this year, next year. Those are your only 2 chances. You better get some shit done.
Yeah, I was about to say after next year they can dip. Now Kawhi, I think Kawhi is a lot less likely to leave because I mean, he left a championship team in Toronto that if he was on that team this year, they would be very clear favorites to win. To win this year. But he left Toronto in a really good situation. I mean, they gave him everything he could want. Rest. I mean, they were going to give him a key to the city, never pay for a meal again, get a mansion, and I mean, they were going to make him king of the North up there, and he gave all that up so that way he could be with his family in L.A. I don't think he leaves. Paul George, I mean, that he's kind of flaky. I mean, he did everything he could to get out of Indiana. Goes to Oklahoma City, plays with Westbrook, basically does everything he can to leave there, gets traded to L.A. I mean, the guy's now a favorite to win the NBA title and doesn't make it to the Final Four. I mean,
he looked bad. I mean, he'd have a game where he would shoot like 3 of 12, have like 8 points, come out the next night and put up 32, and everybody's like, "Oh, Paul George is back." No, that's how he's always been. He's either gonna show out or he's gonna.
Yeah.
I mean, he's either going to come out and drop 30 and be a menace on the defensive end, or he's going to suck all over the place. And he was just more so the latter in the entire playoff series. So
yeah, I mean, it's a lesson. I mean, really, how do you really put this? I don't know what they can do to make that team better. I don't know if a regular season would have helped or what, but man, if they don't win next year, that Clippers team is doomed for the next decade.
Yeah, I mean it's going to be one of the all-time biggest disappointments, I would think.
Oh, for sure. I mean, and it's funny because it's like last year you have that trade where Kawhi goes to Toronto, and people think that might be the greatest trade of all time. You know what I mean? You make that trade to win a championship, they win a championship, that's great. The Clippers did the same thing with Paul George. I mean, they gave up their whole future to win now. If you win a championship, then you can say, that paid off. Not making it to the conference finals, though, that is a...
Not good. Yeah, big. Because, and you can even make the argument that, the Clippers, they just have 2 superstars. They don't have depth. No. They've got 2 sixth men of the year.
Sure.
I mean, their bench is good. Their starting rotation is not bad. I mean, Zubac is a solid 2-way center. You've got... I mean, Pat Beverly, obviously, he's going to be a tough guy for anybody he's going to go against. He's going to run his mouth. He's going to be he's like Marcus Smart, but not quite as good. I mean, it's just, they had so many pieces.
And it's not like you can blame coaching because I would say over half the teams in the NBA would take Doc Rivers over their current coach. You know what I mean? The guy's won championships. I don't know. I mean, there's problems down there in LA, and they need to figure it out quick. Before we get into our football stuff, who do you got going to the finals in each of the? I would say my picks, but I went 8-0 in the first round and 0-4 in the second. So I mean, you know what I mean?
It's impressive. I would say Denver and Boston.
Okay. Oh, really? You going Denver over LA?
Yeah, might as well. They're hot right now. Obviously, it's hard to say they're hot after 2 7-game series, but
Sure. Sure. Um, I'm gonna go LA and Boston. I don't think Miami has the firepower to win over 7 games. I mean, obviously, if they win tonight, that changes a
yeah.
lot. I mean, they're 9-1 in the postseason, which is pretty good. Kind of the best record in the playoffs so far. But yeah, I would say I'll say LA and Boston. I think LA gets Denver out in 6. So
Yeah, Denver or Boston. Keep in mind they're already down 0-1, so that's going to be tough. I don't know how they lost that game one. I mean, Jimmy Butler hit one shot, or well, he hit one deep shot, and it had me. That's how he rolls, dude. He'll just drive all day, and then he'll hit 1 3 at the end of the game, and it's like, how the hell did he pull that off? But he
sure,
does it, dude's been incredible
sure,
in the playoffs. Like, it's gonna be tough to stop him, but I just think Boston's gonna figure it out. I think the thing that sucks is like Marcus Smart will hit a big shot early, and he just won't stop shooting. And don't get me wrong, good player, two-way guy, not the guy I want shooting the ball every time down the floor in the first quarter. They were up 12 and he's up there just bricking everything. And
yeah,
I want to see Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown take over. And they tried to at the end of that game. I don't know what happened. I mean, that game it was 22 seconds left. They're down 1. They get fouled on the inbounds, get the free throw, and that changes the way you're going to attack at the end of the game. So they kind of held it and tried to hit they wanted the last shot, obviously. It just didn't go in. They go to overtime and lose it there. But good game. One of the better games of the playoffs so far. Hopefully Boston can turn it around.
sure.
They've had a tough stretch, obviously going 7 with Toronto. They'll probably have to go 6 or 7 with Miami if they want to win it. So Boston's going to be a fun team if they can keep going. Miami's been a fun story, though. Obviously, they've got a lot of depth, a lot of guys who can just shoot and play defense. And don't forget that block from Bam.
Oh yeah,
One of the most impressive plays of the playoffs so far. One of the most impressive blocks in, the history of the NBA. I mean, the dude's hand was straight back over the top of the rim, and he snagged it. I mean, that's impressive. But
yeah,
he was the guy I said was going to be a factor, and
true.
damn, but was he not?
Yeah,
Without him, they lose that game. So
or they at least go to double overtime. You know what I mean? One of the two. So
yeah.
so
But yeah. So before we do our picks and recap for the NFL, I was just gonna run through my notes of what we learned from Week 1 last week.
sure.
Obviously, it was no preseason. We don't really know what to expect coming in. I've watched 13 games from last week. Trying to get the rest of them done the day before Thursday night kicks off. We'll see how that works out. But real quick, Vikings defensive backs are bad. We have all rookies basically out there against Aaron Rodgers. Things are going to look bad. Rodgers threw for like 360 and 4 touchdowns. He hasn't done that against Minnesota in a long time. Green Bay kicked their ass. Not what you want to see. Carson Wentz started the game really hot. He was making a lot of good throws and then just shit the bed second half.
Yep.
A lot of bad throws, a lot of bad reads, underthrows, bad interceptions, and bad spots. Let Washington kind of take over the game on the defensive end. Chase Young stood out. He had a strip sack in the first quarter, which is what everybody expected to happen. Dude's probably the best edge rusher we're going to see come out in a long time. Ravens are the best team in the league, just from what we saw. Obviously, Cleveland's been a joke for 20 years, always have the hype around them. Baltimore came out and kicked their ass from the get-go.
Oh,
they
for
can
sure.
Run, they can throw. They've got stars all over their defense. Even without Earl Thomas, I think they're still the best defense in the league if we're going to factor in like creating turnovers, forcing the ball, stuff like that. They're incredible. Kyler Murray, Cam Newton, Russell Wilson, all elite quarterbacks. We already knew that with Russell Wilson, obviously, but he threw like 31 of 35 for 20. He
had one of those. He had one of those you must have forgot games, and he showed you why he is. He was an MVP candidate last year for 2/3 of the season before Lamar Jackson kind of wrapped it up.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the guy can
He's
go out there and win games for
he's
sure.
never got an MVP vote. That's insane.
That's crazy. That is
But
crazy. And
I
like I said, a
wonder.
lot of people had him as their front runner, like through like 11 or 12 weeks last year.
Yeah, I mean, he's always been a game. I mean, you look at their roster, you're like, man, that's like an 8-win team at best. But they constantly win 11, 12 games with ease. So I wonder if him playing in Atlanta had a factor. You know, obviously it's the home of Future.
Sure.
Future is his wife Sierra's baby daddy. Or
Gosh.
at least, I don't know.
Goodness gracious.
But I mean, that's always been the thing is like, I believe that the Falcons, when there's fans there, they play Future in warm-ups when they're playing Russell Wilson. They try to get his head. He doesn't let it happen. It doesn't phase him. Matt Ryan threw for like 450 yards in that game and lost.
Yeah, that always feels good.
Yeah, Kyler Murray, I'm watching that game today. I watched a little bit of it this morning, but that dude's really good. Obviously, he's probably an MVP candidate too, only in his second year. Cam Newton, I mean, I'm repping him today.
Y'all must have forgot.
People were saying, like, oh, he can't pick up the New England offense. Joke's on you, New England changed their offense to fit him. They ran quarterback power, all these quarterback, like, off-tackle runs. He only threw the ball 19 times. He completed, like, 15 of them for, like, 180 yards. Dude,
people forget Belichick's elite, man.
Yeah, Belichick.
People forget.
Good. I mean, that Cam Newton performance. Everybody's like, well, he didn't throw the ball well. He threw the ball pretty well. One of his completions hit Edelman right in the chest and he dropped it.
Yep.
I mean, he ran for 2 touchdowns. He controlled the game from the get-go.
Now, granted, they played Miami, but I mean, if your defense is only going to give up 11 points, you only need to score 2 touchdowns to win.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
If you look at Miami though, they've got Flores, who's a New England coach, came over. They signed Kyle Van Noy, guy from New England. I mean, and looking at history, like, usually Belichick doesn't do well against his former coaches, at least early on. I mean, Patricia beat him his first year in Detroit. Cam Newton, though, man, the Patriots don't have a great roster. I mean, obviously, like, half their defense is opting out. Stephon Gilmore had a bad game. He had, like, 2 pass interference penalties. He got beat early on a couple of quick slants. Cam Newton just took over the game, him and Rex Burkhead. I don't know what to tell you. Rex Burkhead's not like a superstar running back. So
No.
That was a good game. And then, I mean, my last note, you got to save Matt Stafford, man. I've been saying it since 2010, but it's like his second year. Dude has no talent.
Yep.
No offensive line, no run game. Adrian Peterson kicked ass, and he's like 40.
Sure.
And he was their best runner. I mean, he had a good game, so obviously he's going to be the best runner, but wide receivers dropping passes. Defense couldn't stop Mitchell Trubisky, which, holy shit, if you've ever watched football, you know that's not the most difficult task in the world.
Facts.
And then 2 minutes left, they go into 2-minute drill. Stafford leads them all the way down the field, throws a perfect ball to DeAndre Swift, who just drops it in the end zone.
Yep.
And I like DeAndre Swift. He was my number 6 overall player, I think, in last year's draft. Inexcusable drop. You can't have it. And obviously he's going to learn. I'm assuming he apologized to his team. It cost him the win. We've been saying it for years, dude. Matt Stafford just doesn't have help. He gets short in the stick every year.
I mean, and really, the guy is a top 5 quarterback year in and year out. That statement actually might be pushing it. He's top 10 for sure, but he's border. I mean, he's borderline top 5 year in, year out. I mean, the guy gives you can almost pencil him in for 5,000 yards and 30 touchdowns every year. But the problem is like, he should have like 40 touchdowns.
Yeah. If his defense could stop anybody, they're winning 8 games. If his run game was decent enough to make the pass game less predictable, that's 10 games. But, I mean, he's dropping back to throw it 50, 60 times, it feels like. I mean, it's probably not that much because they don't have the ball because their defense can't get a stop. But, like, he came back from, like, a broken back. And he dominated the other day. He threw one bad pass that I saw. The one mistake, it was over the middle, it got tipped and intercepted at the end of the game.
Yep.
Other than that, I mean, this dude looked comfortable. He still has one of the best arms in the NFL. I will take it to my grave that Matthew Stafford is a top 3 quarterback of all time in terms of just pure talent. It's him. Right now, it's him, Mahomes, and Aaron Rodgers. Those 3 guys have the best arms I've ever seen. Now, Josh Allen, everybody's going to say, well, don't give him respect. He's got a strong arm. Let's not get crazy. You can throw it hard. We haven't seen anything else. But Matt Stafford, dude, I just want him to have a chance. He's a great guy. He's great in his community. He's obviously been through a lot the last few years with him and his wife going through different things.
And the thing is, he's been loyal. I mean, the guy has had chances to leave that team, and he has stayed. I mean, nobody wants to play in Detroit. I mean, people ask to be traded out of Detroit, tell their agents, I don't want to get drafted to Detroit. Like, if Detroit gives me an offer, I won't even look at it. Matt Stafford hasn't even entertained going to another team.
And then you got the people saying, well, he had Calvin Johnson. And guess what? They were good those years.
Yep.
When they were both healthy, they were at least made the playoffs. I don't think they ever won a game, but they made the playoffs.
Yeah.
But when your number one target is Kenny Golladay, who can't stay healthy, and then you look, he's got Marvin Jones, who also can't really stay healthy.
Yeah.
Well, who's he supposed to throw the ball to?
Sure.
I mean, it sucks. Obviously, even him being in the division for us, for the Vikings, I
mean, the fact that he even keeps games close is a testament to his talent.
When we play the Packers, I'm like, damn, I hate the Packers. We play the Bears, I'm like, damn, I hate the Bears. We play the Lions, I'm like, the Lions suck. I love Matt Stafford, and I'm scared they're going to lose to Matt Stafford.
Sure.
Because there's no reason to believe he's not going to just dice him up.
And really, it's kind of interesting because it's like hockey in a way. I mean, you run into a hot goaltender, you could lose that game just to the goaltender. Matt Stafford, if he turns it up, you could lose the game to Matt. I mean, you could score 45 points against him and lose. I mean, the guy. I mean, sometimes I feel like that's the only way they can win is they have to get in barn burners.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's tough. I mean, hopefully Patricia can figure out their defense. They need to really get Jeff Okudah out there, who was the first-round pick this year. He was like top 5 pick, didn't even start week 1. We'll see how that works out. But, yeah, I mean, free Matt Stafford, that's all I'll say.
Facts.
But
So let's run into last week's picks. So we did a little talking. You know, we are going to restructure our picks for this week instead of doing the exact same games as we did last week. We each picked 6 games. We're each going to do Thursday night and Monday night, and then we picked 4 games separately. We did not have any insight into each other's picks, but what we will do, we'll review last week's picks, kind of admit some faults. So last week, since we did all the same games, we can kind of make this a little easy. So first game we did last week, we did Washington and Philadelphia. I believe we both took Washington to cover, but Philadelphia to win the game. Is that right?
Yep. Yeah, I believe so. So we split that one. We both got the cover, but Washington took it outright because Carson Wentz sucks.
Well, and really in that game, Washington is down 17-0 early. It looks like Philadelphia is going to cruise to a week 1 victory. And then, Dwayne Haskins and that Washington defense stepped up and just shut Philadelphia out in the last half. And, give Washington a lot of credit. I mean, I don't know. I mean, Philadelphia, they've got a lot of problems. I mean, they're dealing with a lot of injuries. They've got a little bit of talent at the wide receiver spot. Dallas Goedert, he had a great game. I think he had like 8 receptions for 116 yards and a touchdown. I mean, the guy's great. Zach Ertz had a touchdown. I heard Zach Ertz is pretty unhappy in Philadelphia once out.
Yeah.
I can't blame him. You know what I mean? I mean, the guy puts in work. You can pencil him in for a touchdown every other week. Philadelphia, though, they got problems, and they need to figure it out fast. If they lose this week to L.A., there might be calls for Carson Wentz to go to the bench.
Yeah, which they're not up for. I mean, they had a tough task with Washington. Their front 7. I mean, they're loaded all the way across. Oh, it's okay. You get next week, you get Aaron Donald.
Exactly.
Who, I don't know if you watched that Dallas game. He was bodying double teams.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
it was
just shoving 2 guys, 2 grown men, 300 pounds, and he's just chucking them.
Yeah, and I mean, I would say that they're like, I mean, yeah, obviously you have Jalen Ramsey on the corners, and I mean, whenever you don't have elite talent at the wide receiver position, elite talent at the cornerback position is going to make that very, very difficult.
Yeah.
I did not pick that game this week. I think LA was a 1 point favorite. That's gonna be an interesting game. If Philly loses that game, Carson Wentz is on the hot seat, and
Yeah.
rightfully so. And rightfully so. Um, Next game that we picked last week, we both did Indianapolis versus Jacksonville. This was your lock. It was not mine,
Yeah.
but it was yours. We both took Indianapolis to cover. We gave the points to Jacksonville, and boy, were we wrong.
Yeah. And Indy came out. It was like 14-0, and then they got stopped in the red zone. I believe they went for it on 4th and goal, didn't get it,
Yeah.
and the whole game shifted. I mean, Minshew threw like 19 of 20.
Yep.
They kept the ball away from Darius Leonard. They kind of stayed away from him, which is, I mean, the smart thing to do.
Sure.
Marlon Mack
You're
goes
gonna win a
down
lot
with
of
an
games throwing
Achilles.
19 for 20. By the way,
Yeah.
you're gonna, that's a pretty good recipe for success down there in
Yeah,
Jacksonville.
I mean, even if they don't have they didn't have a run game. The Colts, they lost Marlon Mack, but I don't think he was really.
Jonathan Taylor is your number one.
Yeah, Jonathan Taylor's your one. Naheem Hines is your spell
He's a
back.
borderline too. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, Hines had 2 touchdowns. Taylor busted a screenplay and took it almost into the end zone. And Phillip Rivers just made some dumb mistakes. He played like Phillip Rivers. He just throwing off his back foot and chucking it up way late, way behind. Jacksonville took advantage. Miles Jack had a really good game at linebacker for them. I don't even know. They split carries pretty well with their running backs. DJ Chark had another touchdown, which he's been a machine for them since he joined the league. Another LSU guy. Jacksonville, I saw a bunch of theories saying, well, the Colts just won so the Jags don't get the number 1 pick. That way they don't get Trevor Lawrence. I don't think the Colts are that smart. But, yeah, it was a shocker for sure. Xavier Rhodes sucked for the Colts. Good to see because he's a former Viking. They play each other this weekend. Hopefully the Vikings can do the same thing.
Sure.
But, yeah, I mean, wow,
and then
was I wrong?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, no, I think we both were. I think I had them winning by 24, and they lost. So I mean, that was pretty humbling. We went Kansas City, Houston last week on Thursday night, season opener. I went with the bold prediction on this one. I had Houston winning outright. That did not happen. I think Kansas City covered, didn't they?
Yeah, because I think it was 9.5. They won by 11 or something like that.
Yeah.
So.
And so I missed on the money line and the spread. What did you do?
I got money line, missed the spread.
You took Houston cover?
I had a Houston. I think it was 31-24 is what I had it. So I was close. I think it was 34-23. So
sure.
But yeah.
We went Minnesota, Green Bay. I took Minnesota was a 3-point favorite last week. I had Green Bay winning outright, and sure enough, I said this was going to be a you must have forgot game. I thought Aaron Rodgers was going to come out and make a statement, and boy did he.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it was your boys that he made it against, and Green Bay ended up covering and winning outright.
Yeah, I can't remember what I actually ended up making my pick. I know I went back and forth because I had You
basically said it was a pick 'em.
Yeah, because Danielle Hunter wasn't playing. It kind of changed things, but that happened right on the pod. But yeah. I will say the thing that changed, it was funny. We were watching the game. Caleb came down, obviously. And the Vikings, it's 7-3. They get a stop at the goal line on 4th and goal. And my dad goes, that's going to be the worst thing that happens to him, I bet. Because it puts the Vikings at their own 1. Sure enough, they go play action pass from their own 1. Jair Alexander comes clean off the edge. He gets a sack for a safety. Don't know why you're calling play action at the 1 yard. It's ludicrous. He gets a sack. It's a safety. So now the Packers get the ball down 7-5. Go down and get a field goal. Well, now momentum's all in their favor. I think Vikings get stopped. Green Bay comes down and scores again, and Cousins throws a pick to end the half. Green Bay scores before the end of the half because Vikings defense is awful right now.
Yep.
Next thing you know, it's 29-10, and the Vikings had the ball for 6 minutes in the first half. Not great. Dalvin Cook was good, but he just didn't get on the field much. So I mean, it's gonna
Sure.
be. So Green Bay just took advantage. They made the Vikings pay for their mistakes, and they rolled with it. They ended up putting up 43 points on them.
Yep.
So it's hard to win
Yep.
like that. Vikings scored 24 in the second half in the fourth quarter or something like that.
I picked the differential. I thought I had it originally. I thought it was like going to be 34-23, and it ended up being 43-34. So got the point differential right on that. So I feel pretty good about that. Another game we picked last week. We picked Dallas and LA. Oh, that's what I get for picking Dallas. Son of a bitch. I mean, granted they lost, so I was happy, but man, I got that wrong.
Yeah.
Both the spread and the money line.
Aaron Donald took over that game.
Sure.
I mean, he was the difference maker. Prescott, I think, looked okay. I haven't watched that game back, but I think he looked really good just from the broadcast, I think. Zeke was good. People were really upset about the Jalen Ramsey pass interference call that basically ended the game. I thought it was the right call. I think Michael Gallup extended his arm. And I think you can have your arm extended, but he didn't keep it extended. He extended it as the ball was arriving. He pushed off, and Ramsey slowed it a little bit. Yep. People are saying he flopped like crazy. I mean, no, he threw his shoulder back. He got pushed. It's the right thing to do. And if you want to, if he doesn't sell it, they're not calling it. So him selling it, it's gambling. Either they call it or I give up the pass, and they don't call it. It worked out in his favor. He did the right thing, I think, and it worked. So if the Cowboys want to be upset about something, it should be the rest of the game. They had so many chances to score, and they just didn't do it. They went for it on 4th and 3 from, the Rams 12 in a 3-point game and didn't get it. Sorry, kick the field goal and you're tied. It's a whole different ball game.
Sure.
I mean,
and don't get me wrong, I like the move being aggressive. I mean, especially on the road. I mean, I think it was a good move, but I mean, if you take the risk, you gotta live with the consequences of not getting the reward. And so, I mean, LA, they played a great game. They got the W. Shouts out to them, 1-0 on the season. The last game that we picked Baltimore and Cleveland. I thought this was going to be a rout, and boy, I said, what did I say? I said Baltimore was gonna put it on the chest of Cleveland and OBJ, and boy, was that the truth. Basically, steamrolled them, if you know what I mean, down there in Cleveland. So, I had it 38-21. Boy, that was giving Cleveland too much credit. 38-6. I think we both got the money line and the spread on that. What did you think of that game?
Yeah, I mean, Lamar Jackson's is unreal. He doesn't. I mean, obviously, everybody's gonna talk about his throw or his running ability. He doesn't get the credit he deserves as a passer. He threw some absolute dimes all throughout that game. He ran the ball well. He almost made one big mistake. He had a power option, I guess you would call it, where they had the running back followed him with a pitch play. He busted it 20 yards, and he gets tripped up, and as he's falling, he just no-looks it over to the running back, and it was fumbled, but they recovered it. So, it was fine. But, I mean, Baltimore's defense is so good. They make it tough on Baker Mayfield. I thought Mayfield looked okay. They abandoned the run game too quickly, which is stupid because Kevin Stefanski, when he was with Minnesota, would not let the run game go. He's got to find that middle ground somewhere. I mean, they ran the ball 25 times, but Nick Chubb would get hot, get them down to the 30, and then they would just stop, and they would force the ball to Odell, and it just didn't work out. So, I don't know. Cleveland's still got work to do. Obviously, if you never have chemistry with your coaching staff and your players, it's never going to work out, and they've got to stick with somebody. We've seen this for the last 5 years. As a coach comes in, sucks for a while, they move on, whole new system in place. So we'll see what happens, but Baltimore right now is my favorite. I think they're the best team in the league.
So just to recap, last week I went 3-3 against the spread, 2 for 4 on the money line. It was the opposite for you. You went 2 for 4 on the against the spread and 3 for 3 on the money line. Got some fun picks this week. We're gonna keep a running tally for you guys throughout the year. I'm 1-0 on locks. He's 0 for 1. We'll see what happens throughout the week. So
Yeah.
what,
So
like I
yeah.
said, we're gonna get into this week's picks. The format from here on out for the rest of the season, we're gonna do Thursday night. We're gonna do Monday night because I think from here on out there's only one Monday night
Yeah.
game. So Thursday night, Monday night, and then we pick 4 Sunday games. We'll run through our games that we do in common first, and then we'll do our separate games last. So first things first, let's go Thursday night football. Cincinnati at Cleveland. Cleveland a 6-point favorite at home. Over under 43.5. What did you take?
I have. Hang on, let me pull it up. I've got the Bengals +6. I've got them covering the spread, and I actually have them winning it outright.
Really? No
Yeah.
kidding.
I
Okay.
gotta see what my score. Um, I've got the Bengals winning 23-20. I don't think it's gonna be a high
Okay.
scoring game, but I do
Sure.
think. I mean, Cincinnati looked really good in their Week 1 loss to the Chargers. Their kicker blew it, obviously. But Joe Burrow looks like the real deal after
Excuse me.
one game. I think Joe Mixon's going to get more involved tonight, and I think Cincinnati's going to be a tough team to beat. I think they're not. I don't know if they're going to win a lot of games, but I think they're going to be a tough team to beat,
Sure.
like every single week. So it'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, so you're going with the under in that game. I'm actually going to take Cleveland -6. I think this is a must-win game for Cleveland. I think Baker Mayfield's playing for his job right now. I mean, I really think if he doesn't prove that he is a playoff caliber quarterback, there's going to be calls for his job and quickly. Last week they got embarrassed last week, 38-6. Let's just be real here. You just can't. I mean, there's a lot of talent on that team, a lot of hype. That gets shut down pretty quickly. I mean, it's one thing if you face Baltimore and you lose like 38-34. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's positives to take out of that. You only score 6 points. There's problems. And
Yeah.
uh, boy, I don't know. I think I've got Cleveland -6. I'm going to go the over in this game. I'm taking it 27-20. I don't know. I don't know if I'm sold on Burrow yet. I think I with this being Thursday night, a short turnaround. I mean, how many short turnarounds did Burrow have in college? I'm not entirely sure. Mayfield, I think he's going to be motivated. I think he comes out. I think he knows he needs to win. They need to be competing for a playoff spot this year, and starting the season 0-2, that's not a recipe for success.
No, it's not great.
I think Odell Beckham has a bounce back game. I think unlike how he would normally like it, I think he shits on Cincinnati tonight.
Yeah.
I think Cleveland they need to. I think they need to win. I think they do. I think they win it by a touchdown. Give me Cleveland -6.
All right.
So Monday night football. Monday night we have New Orleans and Las Vegas.
Opening of the new Vegas Stadium.
Yes. New Orleans is a 6-point favorite in this one as well. The over/under is 49.5. Who do you got in this one?
Man, the Raiders looked really good on Sunday, but they played a really bad Panthers team. Sorry, a bad Panthers defense. Panthers offense is solid. Their defense is really bad. Might be the worst defense in the league right now.
Sure.
Just because they're young. It's like all rookies and second-year guys. They lost Luke Kuechly. Saints defense looks like one of the best in football. Their offense looked not great on Sunday against Tampa Bay, I'll be honest. It didn't look all that impressive. Now they're not going to have Michael Thomas for the few weeks is what it looks like. I still take Saints -6. I think
Okay.
they're a dominant team. Their defense is going to make it hard for Josh Jacobs. I think Demario Davis is going to shut them down. I think he's going to be able to fill lanes in the run game. I've got Saints winning 23-13. Not a high-scoring game, but they still cover the 6 points.
Yeah, so I agree with you. I think I think this game, New Orleans, they're 1-0. That NFC South is shaping up to be a tough division. New Orleans, they beat Tampa Bay last week more comfortably than I think a lot of people thought it was going to be. I think if they can come out and win this game, I think it's going to give them a lot of confidence going into the rest of the year. 6-point game, Las Vegas. I don't trust them enough to win big games yet, and I think this is a big game for them. I think if they had more fans in the stands
Yep.
for this game, it would be a different
Yeah,
animal.
that's what
First game
I
in
think.
Vegas,
Yeah, I was thinking if it's full stadium, packed house,
yeah,
opening of a new stadium in Vegas with Raider Nation behind them,
sure,
they can win any game they want. But
sure,
given that it's going to be a weird atmosphere having a brand new opening, brand new stadium, and then nobody there, it kind of like we saw that with the Rams. It kind of ruins the moment a
sure,
little bit. So
sure.
we'll see how the players react. But
Yeah, and I mean it's a different atmosphere if you're playing in front of 70,000 in a new city, debuting a new team. That's different. I'd be more apt to take the cover there. I'm taking New Orleans -6 in this one as well. I think that this also goes under. I have it 28-13. So I kind of agree with you. I think it's going to be low scoring. I think New Orleans. I think they score. I think Breeze probably has 2 touchdowns. I think Kamara runs one in. Maybe Latavius Murray runs one in. I don't think it's going to be anything too impressive from either side. I think it's just going to
yeah,
be a very comfortable, quiet game for New Orleans. I think they go 2-0, and I think they get some confidence going into the rest of the year.
yeah,
So
I think that's about what I would have. I don't know if the Saints are able to hit the end zone. I think they're going to struggle without Michael Thomas as a threat down there. So I think it's going to make life a little bit tougher on Kamara. I think he had a good week in week 1, but I think it's also because with adding in Emmanuel Sanders and trying to cover Michael Thomas, it opened up things a little bit for him.
sure,
So I think defenses can now focus on him again. So we'll
sure,
see. Obviously, I don't know if it's going to be a huge high scoring game like we would expect in any other year, but
sure.
I'll take the Saints right now.
Same. And so the last game that we have in common is a Sunday 12 o'clock game. I believe it. We both took Atlanta and Washington, right?
Dallas. What?
What?
Atlanta plays Dallas.
Oh,
I don't. I'm not doing.
yeah, you're right. You're right.
I'm
You're
not
right.
doing
My
the
bad.
Washington game.
My bad. Atlanta, Dallas. That's the one I'm thinking of. I've got Atlanta and Washington right here next to each other on mine, so that's why I was thinking that. Atlanta and Dallas. You picked that game as well, right?
Yeah.
All right.
So
So I'll let you go first on this.
so my spread was a little bit different when I did this. But it doesn't change anything. I think it was 4.5 when you submitted it. Mine was
Yep.
4 in favor of Dallas. I've got Falcons covering the +4.
Okay.
But I've got Dallas winning 31-28.
Okay.
Dallas
Okay.
returns. It's their first home game of the season. They need to make up for a loss last week to the Rams, which is disappointing. I think we saw a lot of good things from their offense. I think they're going to finally get all their guys involved. I think CeeDee Lamb's going to have a big week. Obviously, Atlanta's defense does not look great. Russell Wilson just diced him for like 320 and 4 touchdowns. I think it's going to be a big week for Dallas, but I think it's going to be just as big of a week for Atlanta. I think Matt Ryan's still going to throw. He's going to have almost 1,000 yards after 2 weeks. So, give me the Cowboys in the money line, but give me Atlanta with the spread.
So I kind of agree with you. I think I have Washington or not one. I have Atlanta 4.5. I'm gonna take the points on this one. I'm also going to take Atlanta to win this one outright. I think it's 27-24 under 52.5. Atlanta. This is interesting because Dallas. I don't want to say this is a must-win game for them, but there's going to be cause for Dak Prescott's job if, at least in the long term, if they don't win this. This is a game they have to win. I mean, Dallas, they can't start the season 0-2 in a division where there's no clear-cut number one team. You know what I mean? Granted, there's an extra playoff spot up for grabs this year, but I don't see the NFC East getting more than one team in. I think that there's too much talent in the other divisions in the NFC for the NFC East to squeak a second team in there. If Washington can win a second game, if they start 2-0, that's going to put the pressure on any 0-2 team in that division. But I think I had them winning last week and they just didn't come through for me. Matt Ryan, I think he has a big game in this one. He's got the receiving talent to do it. Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott. I mean, I don't know. I don't trust them now. I mean, I thought they were going to win last week. They they just didn't perform, and
yeah.
I just I don't have any confidence in them right now to win a game, especially against a team of Atlanta's caliber. Like I said, give me Atlanta not only covering but winning outright, 27-24.
I like it.
So,
I think Atlanta's going to be a fun team. I mean, we saw it. A lot of it was in like from behind on Sunday, but
yeah,
I mean, Matt Ryan I think had 3 receivers over 100 yards. So I
sure.
mean, it's going to be. I mean, Julio had like 160. Calvin Ridley still looks really good. Hopefully Todd Gurley can get going, but if not, I think they have enough pieces. They got Laquan Treadwell on their practice squad. I mean, they got playmakers all over the place. Um, what was your next one?
All right, so those were the three games we had in common. We agree on the spread for two of those games, differ on one, and then obviously our money line picks were what they were. I mentioned Washington. That's the one I'll mention first here. Washington plays Arizona this week. Washington was a 6.5 point dog. I have them covering but losing on the money line. I have Washington losing 17-21 to Arizona. There will be under 47.5 points. Arizona, I think they squeak out a win on this one. I don't think it's going to be anything impressive from either side. I just think, you know, the game is going to be Arizona's offense versus Washington's defense, and I think that, I mean, if you only give up 21 points, you're giving your chance a team to win. I just don't think that. I mean, really though. I mean,
Yeah,
but I just don't think Washington's going to take advantage of that. I think this is a very winnable game for Washington. I think this is a
yeah.
game that if they win this one, they've got to feel really good about where they're at after 2 weeks. I just don't think that they do. I think that they lose this one close in the fourth quarter. I don't think this is going to be like any kind of walk off kind of situation. I just think that I just I think they're going to have a drive with a chance to win, and it's going to come down to a late fumble, interception, something like that. Washington covers, loses on the money line.
I mean, I like that pick. I think uh, that's one of the bets I have going with Caleb. Is I think it'll be interesting because Arizona's got a tough slate right out of the gate. They've got to play San Francisco's pass rush in week 1, and
Yep,
they were up to the task. They beat them, and then they come back and play Washington in week 2. We'll learn a lot about Kyler Murray in that offense. Kyler looked really good from what I've seen in the San Francisco game. Obviously, he's
sure,
an MVP candidate. I want to see if they can contain him because I know with San Francisco, they're not as deep in the front four. They're still really good. There's still a lot of quality guys there. But I think if you put Kerrigan and Chase Young on the outside and you've got I think it's Deron Payne's up the middle. I mean, it's going to be tough. I think he can. If he gets to the second level, it'll be a tougher task for Washington's linebackers than it was for San Francisco. And San
sure.
Francisco struggled, so it'll be interesting. I think where Arizona's in is has the advantage is going to be on the outside because their receivers looked really good against San Francisco. Just imagine how good they're going to look against Washington, and you have a spider or something above you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. My bad.
It came crawling out of the side. I was like, man, what the hell is
God,
that?
what in the hell? God, hold on. Damn it.
We're live, folks. We are live.
Okay. We'll keep an eye on that. Shit. Ruined my great setup here, by the way. Son of a bitch. All right. Uh, well, I didn't get it, but we're gonna keep an eye on it. Ugh. Damn it. All right, so we're back.
Yeah. But yeah, Washington, very good team. I still like Dwayne Haskins. I think he looked okay. He didn't look great early on in the Philly game, but I think he picked himself up. He adjusted as the game went. And he made him pay for their
I see that.
mistakes, and it worked.
I see that goddamn spider. It's right here, but I can't open my door to get that. All right, so we're gonna keep an eye on that.
I got you. My next game, I didn't want to do it again. I didn't want to pick him again but I had to. Vikings at Colts. Colts are 3-point favorites.
Where's my paper?
Vikings have not beat the Colts, I think, since the mid '90s.
Oh, okay.
They're 0-5. They've never beat them in my lifetime. Huge disaster for me. Living here in Indiana, get a lot of shit in my face for that. Sorry, Odell. Don't want to your shine, but I mean, Colts at 3-point favorite seems like a gimme for the Vikings. Colts defense did not look good. Xavier Rhodes does not look good. He's their number one corner, it appears. Adam Thielen's going to have a big day. I think Justin Jefferson's going to get involved for the Vikings. Vikings defense. Colts offensive line was disappointing against Jacksonville. And Vikings have Unique Ngakoue, who came over from Jacksonville. He's played Indy 8 times in his career. He has 6.5 sacks. I think they finally turned it around. They get to Phillip Rivers. They make life tough. Only thing I'm worried about is the run game from Indy, but I don't know if that's going to be enough to beat Minnesota. I've got the Vikings winning and covering the spread, obviously. I've got it 34-24 Vikings.
Interesting. That one's interesting. I thought about taking that game. I like Minnesota in that game as well. I just I didn't feel confident about that and taking it in my picks. But I agree with you. I think Minnesota covers that game.
Okay. I'm gonna save my lock for last.
Same.
So I will jump ahead. My next game, Sunday Night Football, I believe. It might no, because I think Seattle and New England's Sunday night. So the 4:25 Sunday afternoon, Ravens at Texans. Another MVP quarterback battle. We've got Lamar Jackson and Deshaun Watson, two guys very well respected around the league. Both guys very much in the running for MVP every single year. Texans coming off a loss. Ravens coming off a huge win. I've got the Ravens covering at 7 points. I've got them winning 33-23. Even though it's on the road, I think their pass rush is going to be tougher. For Houston, I think I want Watson to be successful. I just don't know if he's got a tough stretch, man. Playing Mahomes and Jackson back to back, your defense is going to be dying out there. I think Baltimore's just going to take advantage of a tired Houston team throughout the night, and they're going to take advantage. It'll probably be close, and they'll put it away late, but hey, covering is covering.
Yeah, I think that's a tough one because Houston's had the 3 extra days of rest compared to Houston, or compared to Baltimore. My bad. But I mean, Baltimore won that first game or won against Cleveland so comfortably that they might as well have been resting. Yeah, that's a tough one. I didn't pick that one because I thought Houston has the ability to cover, but after watching last week, I'm not entirely sure. So, I'm glad you're confident in that game because
I'm not wholly confident, but I wanted to take a shot here.
Hey, I understand. You gotta do something to get in the win column. I get it. I did take Sunday night. I took Seattle and New England. Seattle 4-point favorites. The over/under is 45. I think this is a very, very comfortable over. I have Seattle covering 38-31 against New England. I think Cam Newton and Russell Wilson are going to have big games. I think this is going to be one of the better games of the 2020 year. I think this is going to be all offense from the jump. I think this is going to be very entertaining. Sunday night, everyone's going to be watching. I think that they're going to show out. Seattle, they've had a history of showing up big on primetime national TV games. I mean, last year they had that barn burner with San Francisco. And I'm trying to think. They had the Fail Mary against Green Bay years ago. They always have entertaining Monday, Sunday night games, and I think this is going to be no different. 38-31, Seattle covers -4.
I like that pick. I think that's going to be a fun game. But
I think so too.
I have it the opposite. I have it being low scoring.
Oh, really?
Because I think Jamal Adams is going to make it tough for Cam Newton just because he's going to play in the box, and he's going to have speed and a little bit of strength in the box. And it's going to make it a lot tougher for Newton to run. And then with Seattle, I mean, I just trust the Patriots defense to figure it out. I think Seattle does win. Is it in Seattle?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be, man, Seattle's overall team is just a lot better, I think, just because they've got more playmakers at different spots. And I think Belichick will do enough to keep it close, but I think Russell Wilson's going to have a play in, and it's going to secure the win. I think it's going to be close. I would have it something, I believe, I mean, my score, I have it 23-20, Seattle.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
I mean, Patriots cover, but I mean, Seattle's just a better team. It's gonna be a good
Sure.
game. That will, like you said, that will be one of the better games of the season. I think.
I think
Hopefully.
so too.
So,
I think so.
um,
All right. So our locks for this week. I'll let you go ahead and go first.
oh man, I got to bounce back in a big way. I
Gotta
will
keep
take
tabs.
2-0-1 teams coming in. One of them was the worst team in the league. It looked like on Sunday. One of them looked okay but lost late. I got the 49ers beating the brakes off the Jets. That's my lock of the week. When I put this in, it was 7 points in the Niners' favor on the road against the Jets. Jets have no offensive line. Sam Darnold looked bad on Sunday. He couldn't hit a shot or a pass to save his life. Jets defense gave up 300 yards to Josh Allen, and I'm here for all the Josh Allen slander. I don't care. People were in my mentions saying he didn't play bad. He looked really good. He had a couple touchdowns, threw for 300 yards. The Bills only scored 3 touchdowns in the red zone out of 8 attempts against the Jets. This isn't about Josh Allen, but I'm making it. Jets are not good. Sam Darnold is not good. They have no weapons. Le'Veon Bell is now on the IR. I don't trust their run game. I don't trust their defense. The Niners are going to be able to run the ball all up their grill.
Sure.
Niners are going to be able to, I mean, Niners offensive lines are going to decimate their D-line and vice versa. Niners D-line is going to get after Darnold and make life even tougher for him. I've got this one 30-13 Niners. Easily covering 7, even though it's on the road all the way across the country. Man, I'm hammering that lock.
Sure. I like that pick. I like it. I mean, the Jets don't give you anything to be confident about, and
Nope.
San Francisco gives you a lot to be confident. So I mean, that's I like that pick. I like it a lot. My lock this week: Buffalo and Miami. Buffalo 5.5-point favorites. The over/under is 41. Miami. This is interesting because we talked about Carson Wentz. We've talked about Baker Mayfield. We talked about Dak Prescott potentially having calls for their jobs either in the very near future or at the end of the season. I think this is a must-win game for Ryan Fitzpatrick because if he loses this game, I don't think that there's going to be any way that the Miami coaching staff will be able to block out the cries for Tua Tagovailoa.
Yeah.
I think Miami has to come out. They need to perform. If Ryan Fitzpatrick wants any chance of being a starting quarterback in this league for the rest of the season, he has to win this game. I've got good news and bad news. The good news is I lied to you. There is no good news. Buffalo minus 5.5, 34-23. I think this is going to be the last time we see Ryan Fitzpatrick as Miami's starting quarterback. Buffalo's defense, very good. Buffalo, Josh Allen, they got Stephon Diggs up there. They've got enough offensive weapons to lay the points on you. I mean, they can put.
Diggs and Josh Brown's a great duo. I like that a lot.
Yeah, I mean, they've got the ability to put 30 on you any week, and it's not like they're facing a defense like San Francisco or Washington or something like that. They're facing Miami. Okay, nobody is scared of Miami's defense.
I will say, just to cut you off because I'm an asshole, Miami doesn't have a pass rush. They don't really have a good run defense. We saw that against New England. And Buffalo struggled to run the ball, so we'll see if that's a factor. Miami's middle linebacker, Jerome Baker, is a guy to watch. I think he led the league in tackles last week. And they have 2 solid corners in Xavier Howard and Byron Jones. If they can lock up Diggs and Brown to a degree, because I know those guys dominated last week against the Jets. If they can do a decent job, I think Miami has a chance. And I've got Miami covering. I still have Buffalo winning, but I've got Miami covering. But that's a very good game to watch this week. I think it's going to be a very good battle on when Buffalo's on the field offense.
And really, I just don't see this one being close at all. I think Buffalo is going to be up late, big. I think it could be like 31 to like 10 late. The only reason why I think this one goes over is that Miami scores points in garbage time to get it to the over. I have it 34-23. Buffalo, they're for real this year. I mean, Buffalo, they have a chance to go like 11-5 this year. Depending on how good New England can be in the long term. I don't know if that first week was just a flash in the pan or whatever from Cam Newton. If that's not sustainable, Buffalo has a chance to just rout that division. And I think they go 2-0 to start this season, and I think there's a lot to be looking forward to there in Buffalo. That's my lock of the week. Buffalo minus 5.5, over 41, 34-23.
I like it. We're trying to figure out what we're going to do. I mean, we're going to have to tally up everything, trying to find a point system for all the hits, because you got to have something for your lock and your spread and all that. But I want to hear from you guys. What should the punishment/reward be for this? I know me and Caleb are doing one. We do it every year where we pick every game of the week. We have it's like a budget type thing. So we have 100 points we get to spend. We pick every single game of the week. We only pick for the spread, but I mean, it's the same concept. Winner gets a steak dinner at the end of the season.
Whew.
I haven't lost. I'm sorry, Caleb, but like a couple different buildings, I'm just built a little different.
Facts. Big facts.
That's how we roll. This week's games aren't all that exciting compared. Last week, obviously, it was week 1, and there's a lot of divisional games. Football was back. It's exciting. This week's games don't offer a whole lot. Sunday night is a good one. Ravens-Texans is a good one. Thursday night's not great, but it's exciting because you got Baker and Burrow. Other than that, there's not a whole lot really to look forward to, in my opinion. This will be definitely a watch football for fantasy purposes week. But yeah, if you guys have any suggestions for anything, hit us in the comments, hit us up on Twitter.
Thanks.
You know where to find me. If you want my information or my game notes of every game, so you can make bets on your own, you can find that on my Twitter. I've been tweeting out game notes, game thoughts from every single game this week. I'll probably do that all season if I have the time. The PS5's coming out in 2 months, so that's going to change things a little bit for me.
Sure.
I got that pre-order on the way, so. But yeah, just let us know. And then, football is exciting. Obviously, the best sport out there right now, so. You can debate a wall about that one. I'll be
Facts.
Here. Got college football coming back. Big Ten's coming back. All these guys that opted out, hoping to come back and play now, even though they hired an agent. There's a way to intertwine that and get back into the mix. Ohio State's coming for the Natty this year. They got screwed last year with the hit on Trevor Lawrence. IU's coming for the crown. They're going to finish in the top 25. I'm calling it right now. Notre Dame's going to shit the bed in a big game. Just call me. I'm shocked. Oh, no, they're going to get their ass beat by Clemson again. No, shit. They shouldn't be in the ACC. They should be in the Big Ten and play Michigan and Ohio State every year. That's just me. Michigan sucks. But, yeah, you guys don't want my college football takes. They get a little brutal, a little bit heated. But I know you've got some fighting you wanted to talk about.
So this weekend is a pay-per-view level card out of the UFC. It just doesn't have the title fight. This weekend main event, Colby Covington, Tyron Woodley. This one's fun. Tyron Woodley's been talking a lot of shit, saying that he's going to beat the brakes off Colby Covington. That's a bold take coming from someone who hasn't won any of his last 10 rounds. I'm just saying. And what's even wilder is that half of those 10 rounds were 10-8s. The guy hasn't looked good. The guy hasn't won a round, let alone a fight. Guy hasn't won a round in 2 calendar years. Okay? The guy is getting very close to being washed up. Colby Covington, I think he's going to embarrass the shit out of old Tyron Woodley this weekend. I think it's going to be a 50. I think it has the potential to be like 50-42. I think Colby Covington beats the shit out of Tyron Woodley. That is going to be nasty. You have Johnny Walker on that card. You have Hazmat Chimaev. That fight's interesting because he fights Gerald Mearshart. And that fight's at middleweight. He has another fight already booked in November at welterweight against Damian Maia. If that's not disrespect, I don't know what is. Hey, where do you think he's going to beat your ass so badly that we're going to give him – we've already scheduled another fight for him in 8 weeks at a different weight division. We think he's just going to beat the brakes off you, kid, which is crazy because Gerald Mearshart, he has the middleweight record for most submissions with 5 in history. I think Cosmo, if he can get through past Mearshart and the guy fought twice in 8 days, like a couple months ago. In those 2 fights, he ate 1 total punch. One total punch.
Damn.
And he delivered like 200. I mean, the guy's crazy good. There might be calls for him getting a title shot within the next 6 months. I don't think so, but it's very possible. What else you got on that card? You have Donald Cerrone on that card. He fights Nico Price. Donald Cerrone, this guy, he should have retired a while ago. The guy's lost like his last 4, I think. The guy lost to Tony Ferguson, lost to Connor, lost to Anthony Pettis, and there's another guy he fought that I'm missing. Maybe Poirier, I'm not sure. The guy fought, and the guy just he's looking rough. It's not good for old Donald Cerrone. This might be his swan song. I'm not sure. A lot of good fights on this weekend's card. The old nose is running. What can I say, guys? Got some exciting fights. Next weekend's card, we have Israel Adesanya, Paulo Costa, middleweight championship of the world. Two undefeated fighters competing for a world championship. You don't get that very often at all. Someone 0 has to go. You have another title fight on next week's card, Jan Blachowicz versus Dominic Reyes. A lot of people think Dominic Reyes should already be the light heavyweight champion of the world, myself included. I had him winning that fight against John Jones in February. That's an exciting fight. Next month, you have Khabib Nurmagomedov, Dustin Poirier. A lot of exciting fights. Boxing's back next month. You have Teofimo Lopez versus Vasily Lomachenko. Multiple title belts on the line in that fight. A lot of good stuff coming up out of the fight world. You got to love to see it. Hockey, we're down to the last 3. I had Vegas beating Dallas last week when I said it on the podcast. Boy, was I wrong. Dallas eliminates Vegas. They're going to the Stanley Cup Finals. Tonight, Game 6, New York versus Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay, I think they win that one. I think they are the odds-on favorites now to lift the cup. Tampa Bay, they got a lot of good pieces. They got a lot of talent. Andrea Vasilevsky, that guy might end up winning the Conn Smythe. That Braden Point kind of shits the bed in the next week and a half. Who knows? A lot of fun stuff going on. Hockey, fighting. What can I say? I don't got anything else. I think that was all my material. So, a lot of fun.
Hey,
a lot of fun stuff going on.
Yeah, I'm excited for. I probably won't watch UFC this weekend because I got a lot of stuff going on Saturday.
Sure.
Sunday, obviously, is football. Call of Duty Alpha comes out Friday morning, so I'll be definitely playing that. And but yeah, next weekend's fights are going to be great. Obviously, October is going to be a fun month. I think we have Holly Holm in a fight too. So
Yep.
A lot of good fights coming up. Finally going to get back into UFC, hopefully. I've been kind of out of it the last few weeks just because everything else ramping up. But
Sure.
Obviously I'm going to watch the Adesanya fight through, legal means. And then, as always, my legal stream for football wasn't working this week. It was pissing me off. So I could only
That's
watch
weird.
I was only watching the Vikings on DirecTV. I couldn't watch all my other ones. So
Sad.
figure that out for this weekend. But yeah, big things in the world of sports. I mean, baseball playoffs just around the corner. Hockey, Stanley Cup's right around the corner. NBA playoffs, about to hit the NBA Finals here in not too long, probably about 2 weeks or so. And NFL's full swing, so a lot to look forward to. We say this every week. Everything's all crammed together now, but a lot to look forward to, a lot to watch, and a lot to keep your eye on. So I'm really excited. hopefully I can recover from a shit week of betting. I lost so much money this week on FanDuel and DraftKings. It's not even funny. I put 8 bets down on Monday Night Football, and I missed every single one of them.
That's rough.
I think I put 3 down tonight for the Cincinnati game. Hopefully I can hit just a couple of those. Jeez, you guys know I need that. But yeah, it'll be an exciting game. I mean, Joe Burrow's back, baby. He's gonna
Yes, sir.
big dick energy all day.
Facts.
But yeah, I mean that's all I got. I'll try to get this up for you guys. I got meetings to get to, which is stupid. I never have meetings. I don't like them, but
I'm getting ready to have fisticuffs with this spider in my door, my window, my door sill here. So, stay tuned for the results of that.
yeah, we'll keep you guys updated. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. Hope you guys like it. Hope you guys can take something from our bets. Hopefully, we give you guys more leverage for next week. Obviously, you probably don't want to take our picks this week after ample evidence supporting otherwise. But
yeah, you're not lying.
not at all. But we'll be back next week. Better show than ever. Getting better every week.
Oh yeah, we're hitting our stride, baby.
Hell yeah.
No hands. Let's get it.
Let's go. Yes. Hit us in the comments. Hit us up on social. If you got my number, hit me up. I'm bored. I need people to talk to. But yeah, we'll catch you guys sometime next week and roll with the rest of the season. Let's go.
Yeah. Michael Scott, catch you on the flippity flip. Let's get it.
Yes, sir. Peace out, guys.